Hello everyone, Kyle from FlatFour here, just doing a quick video just to answer some of the questions we get asked here a lot in regards to importing vehicles from Japan. There's no denying that it makes up a large part of our business. It's what we're passionate about, it's what we love. Yeah, just sharing some of the frequently asked questions that I get asked a lot here, just to clarify how FlatFour can help you import a car that you really want, or B, find you a car that you may not even know you wanted. So a lot of the time you'll see we'll post up vehicles that are coming up at auction, vehicles of interest, new models, and then usually on the back of those Facebook posts, we get a heap of inquiries asking, how do we import through FlatFour? What's the process? How do we start looking? So this video is to clarify that and make it a bit easier for you guys to understand how you import through FlatFour and how we do things here. So one of the big misconceptions at the moment in regards to importing vehicles is that all their vehicles are eligible. That's just not the case. There is a list of vehicles called the SEVS list, or SEVS, that extends out to Specialist Enthusiast Vehicle Scheme. Essentially what that is, it's a list of vehicles that are maybe a little bit different to what was sold here in Australia, and rarer cars, that are eligible to import. Now, along with the performance vehicles, there is a criteria there for hybrids and low emission vehicles to come in as well as mobility. But generally speaking, the performance criteria is what a lot of the really nice cars fall under. A good example of this is the Hawkeye STI. Now, Australia got the Hawkeye STI in a 2.5 litre. Japan got it in a 2 litre twin-scroll turbo motor. Now, that particular vehicle makes it eligible to import because it is different to what was sold here in the domestic market. In a nutshell, it's different to what was sold here. So if it was different enough in Japan, we can import it. Now that does get into some pretty technical details. So generally what we do is we ask customers when we start making contact with them is to let us know what sort of vehicle you're looking for. It may be a Legacy, it may be a Lexus, it may be a Spec C, Hawkeye STI, or a GC8, or even a Nissan Note. If you guys have a vehicle or a sort of a classification or a group of vehicles that you're interested in, get in contact with us and we can let you know what is and isn't eligible. It gets very confusing, so we're here to make it easier for you. So once we've sort of understand and sort of worked out what sort of vehicle that you're looking for, we can start looking at the auctions for you. We will always quote landed and complied prices. Now, what that means is the vehicle purchased from Japan, taken to the port of Japan, whatever port it may be in Japan, delivered to the port of Brisbane, then to us, to FlatFour, to do the compliance, and then we hand the vehicle over to you. So all the prices that we quote, unless stated otherwise, will be landed and complied. That is the vehicle here in Australia, complied to Australian standards, ready to register in your state, whether it be Queensland, New South, Victoria, doesn't matter. The compliance process is nationwide. So once we start working towards those prices and that sort of vehicle, we can start hunting around the auctions. So say you're, for example, looking for a Tuned by STI Legacy, we'll start sending you some examples that fall within your budget, that fall within your preferences. Common preferences are grading, kilometres, and colour, maybe manual or auto transmission. That's some of the common preferences that people have when they're looking for a vehicle. Once we sort of find a vehicle that you're interested in, we will send you an invoice for the deposit. The deposit is $2,000 up front. That locks in that you are actually genuinely interested in buying a car from Japan and that we're not sort of looking for cars or sort of window shopping for ages to end up not buying anything. So it's a small deposit up front. It just ensures that you're going to go through with the sale. We will find the best vehicle for you. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's your call. If you're not happy with the vehicle that we put in front of you, you don't have to say yes. You can say no, we hold the deposit for the next vehicle, or we can just simply refund it. Granted that, this hasn't gone on for months. So once the vehicle is won at auction, if we do win it at auction within your budget, happy days. That's where all the fun starts. So we'll send you an invoice for the purchase price of the vehicle. So that's the final sort of price for the vehicle in Japan. external to the import costs. Once the vehicle has been purchased from auction, you've paid your invoice for the vehicle, we arrange everything else from there. There's no other forms for you to complete. There's no extra invoices coming from external sources. There's no agents to deal with. There's no brokers to deal with. There's no government departments to deal with. We handle it all. So we will organise to have the vehicle moved to the closest port in Japan. It'll be booked on the next available ship. That generally takes anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks to get it from the auction yard to a port and on a ship. That can vary depending on the environment around the ports in Japan at the time of year. Sometimes it's more congested, sometimes it's easy to get them on. So generally speaking, from the date of auction to the date it gets on the boat, 3 weeks, give or take a bit either side. Sailing time from Japan to Brisbane is generally 3 weeks, at which time you will get your second and final invoice. So there's only 2 invoices to pay in this whole process. The second invoice will come when the vehicle is about to land at the Port of Brisbane. This will include your compliance, your GST, your sea freight, and some additional admin charges that we get charged when the vehicle enters Australia. So it's just like a processing fee. And also transport to our facility here on the Gold Coast. Now, those 2 invoices will not exceed the predetermined budget that you set with us. So say your budget is, I don't know, maybe $25,000 landed and complied. Those 2 invoices will not exceed that amount. So you know that when we originally buy the car and start finding a car, the budget we're working towards is the final landed and complied budget. There's not going to be any hidden fees along the way. Once the vehicle is paid for, via the second invoice, the vehicle will be released from the Port of Brisbane, which generally takes 1 to 2 weeks to clear it from the port. So don't expect the vehicle to be transferred that day. There is some stuff that needs to happen at the port to make sure the vehicle can actually come to us. Now, once the vehicle gets here, happy days, it's all on. So what we can do is you get you down. If you're local, you can come in. Even if you're not local, we're happy to get you to fly in, organise transport from whatever airport you fly to, whether it be Brisbane or Gold Coast. We can organise transport for you to get from the airport to us to come inspect your vehicle. If you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. We will also do a virtual inspection. So if you're not here, if you're in Victoria, Sydney, Adelaide, doesn't matter, I will do a video. I'll walk around the car, show you the car, get as many or as little photos and videos as you want. So I'll send that to you via a Dropbox link and you can check out the vehicle while it's sitting here. Once it gets here, the compliance process starts. So what we'll do a thorough inspection on the vehicle. We will service it at your permission. If you don't want us to do that, that's fine, we won't. And we can do as little or as much servicing on it as you want. So generally speaking, we've got 3 weeks up our sleeve for compliance. So the vehicle will sit here for 3 weeks while the compliance process is happening, in which time, like I said, we can do servicing, we can get it detailed. If there's any paint correction or painting of parts needed, we can do that as well. Once that's all said and done, we will be sent a sticker, which is a VIN sticker from the government, as well as a Australian VIN, which is a 17-digit VIN plaque that gets put on the car. Once that's all said and done, the final process is where the vehicle is entered onto the RAV, which stands for the Register of Approved Vehicles. Once the vehicle is uploaded to the RAV, it's good to register. All right, so it'll be in the national system. So when you go to roadworthy and you go to the transport department, it'll be in the system, ready to register. So that's basically it in a nutshell. So to break it down, initial contact, we ascertain what vehicle you're looking for. We set a budget, transfer a $2,000 deposit so we can start looking and bidding on cars for you. If we win the car, great. The invoice will be sent to you within 48 hours of the auction to be paid in full for the vehicle, external to the import costs. The second invoice includes those import costs. That'll be charged to you when the vehicle gets to Brisbane, which will generally be 3 weeks to get it on a boat, 3 weeks to get it here. So you can expect after the auction about 6 weeks for your second invoice to come through, and that'll be everything paid for, said and done. Come here, another 3 weeks for compliance, and away you go. So that's the process. Another question I get asked is, Kyle, what happens if we don't win the car at the auction? Well, that happens a bit. Generally, we like to put our best foot forward, but sometimes, there's someone else that wants it a little bit more than we do. that's fine. We can hold a deposit for the next vehicle. If you're not interested in purchasing still, we can refund that deposit back to you, and yeah, go from there. So guys, I hope that cleared up a few questions that frequently get asked. If there is any more questions that you have, I'm more than happy to take a call or answer some questions. But I really hope we can work together, import a car for you. It is a great way to buy a JDM vehicle. Generally speaking, the Japanese cars are in so much better condition than ours, especially the interior, as well as just not being modified. A lot of the Subis that we get in are very stock and original, which is so hard to find these days. So guys, if you want a JDM vehicle, it doesn't have to be a Subaru, it can be something else, a Lexus, Nissan, Toyota, whatever, we can do it. Just get in contact, shoot me an email or message us on Facebook. Anyways, thanks for watching. Cheers.